good morning. I am Ann Ferguson, and this is the Walk and Talk, leaning in with Ann, that I do every weekday morning. So, today we are talking about telling the truth to yourself about what you feel and telling the truth to others about what you feel. That can be really dicey, right? Depending on how people can handle that or not. So we're going to explore that today. I'm going to go over the list real quick so you know where we've been. In the past week, if you haven't seen the videos, go back and look. We have been centering the last week on what's called the loving behavior reference. When you follow these rules and you follow them kind of in order, relationships open up. This is changing the dance. If you and your relationships are doing a tango and you're all wrapped up with each other and there's all this passion that's not so good sometimes, and you need to slow it down because you just want a really nice romantic waltz. You want the relationship to balance out. These loving behaviors, they really help. Number one is you have to know what you would love. You have to know what you would love. And you have to be able to not judge that as right or wrong. Step two, ask her what you want. And that could be, first, asking God, I'm very clear, this is what I would love. Asking yourself, hey, by the way, let's get clear, this is what we would love. So let's move towards this, and then telling the truth about what you would love. So when somebody says, well, what about this or this? If you already know what you would love and it's contrary to that, you have to tell the truth and say, yeah, no, that actually doesn't fit. So I know that I would love to continue to work today, have that focus. I told the truth to myself. I wanted to not tell the truth to everybody else because I don't want to let them down, but I just told the truth and said, look, I just want to keep moving. I'm telling the truth about what I would love. Then, here we go. You're going to tell everybody else around you who might be involved what is expected of them, what you expect as far as support, leaving you alone, joining you, supporting you, helping you, whatever that looks like, okay? Then the next one is you need to get really clear about what others expect of you. All right, the next thing is that we have to honor what we feel, first to ourselves and then to other people. We did a 2-part series on the renegotiation, because sometimes there are people you cannot renegotiate with. They are not emotionally mature enough to work within loving behavior. We don't judge that right or wrong, good or bad. It's just, does that help me receive what I would love in a way that honors me? That's the biggest thing, right? Because there's times, we're going to get to this, there's another loving behavior about giving up what you want, if it helps. Right now, when you're dealing with people who blame you for things, because they're pushing responsibility on, when you're blaming other people for your stuff because you're not getting clear about your responsibility, that doesn't help. Today, honor what you feel to yourself and then to others. This was absolutely mind-blowing to me when I learned this. It was 19 years ago. That's how long I've been practicing this stuff. 19 years ago, I learned this. I could honor when I was making myself feel forgiving and I was making myself feel kind, while all the way underneath I was feeling all sorts of resentments, bitterness, anger. That was not honoring. So honoring, just so that you know, is regard and appreciation and respect to something. So I looked up the word regard. That was interesting. To regard is to hold with protective interest and to care for. So the idea of your emotions being, and listen to me really carefully, your emotions are a treasure. They're an absolute treasure. And if you stop making yourself wrong for feeling emotion, you will find out how treasured you are. We're going to really reiterate what we've said before. No one can make you feel anything. That includes feeling your own emotions. No one can make you feel your emotions. This is work. This is breaking societal and generational chains of dysfunction. Dysfunction is right in this feeling zone all the time. I was thinking the other day about how much I have worked on mental health, like since I was 19 years old is when that started. I started mental health work when I was 19. And I also do a lot of physical health, right? My walking, my eating, all of that. And I realized how much if my mental health is squared away, how much easier it is for me to have the physical health. At the same time, you need to move right into your exercise and your other things to get your mental health. They're so combined. Your emotions are treasures. They are holy. No matter if they're angry or frustrated or anything, I've started to really look at emotions as friends, honestly. Honor what you feel. So let's take a practice. Right now, honor what you're feeling right now in this moment. What are you feeling right now? Just kind of check in. This is how we do it. We go in. What am I feeling? I'm starting to feel connected. I was disconnected before. What about you? What are you feeling right now in this moment? Because here's the truth, you guys, you're never not feeling. And you cannot have communication with others if you are not willing to feel. But here's the thing. This is a really big one. Okay, I want to really make sure that you get it. Let's do this. What are you feeling? Anybody want to say? What are you feeling right now? See if you can access something. Name it. What are you feeling right now? Curious, concerned. What are you feeling? Here's the next question about anything you're feeling. What are you feeling about what you're feeling? What? That's really the big deal. I was feeling disconnected from you all and from this process. What was I feeling about being disconnected? A little bit panicked. I was feeling a little bit unsure. Now that sounds really kind of strange, but when you are able to say, what do I feel about what I'm feeling? It changes everything. That's how we honor it. That's how we honor it. What do I feel about being dismissed? Let's say that's your word. I feel angry about being dismissed. I feel sad about being dismissed. So is it okay that those are what you feel? If that is the case, honor it. Okay, honoring, there's another word for the honoring, and that is validate. What we do in general is that we show our emotions, hoping that somebody will pick up on it and validate that you're feeling it. First of all, name it, and then validate it. Once it's named and it's seen as a friend, and you say, I see you worry. So my question to you, worry, is What would you love us to do about this? Are you worried to tell me that I need to be concerned and be looking for some solutions? Or are you worried because in the past I neglected doing anything about anything? All right, let's talk about honoring it to other people. Well, I just feel like you just make me a bother and that's not okay, and we just yell and scream or whatever. That's not really honoring them. Honoring them is all about awareness. I'm going to say this again. Honoring is all about awareness without judgment or shame. So if you are honoring your pain, you're like, I was in a car accident and it jacked up my back. And I was really hoping that I would feel much better than I do right now, and I'm starting to get concerned and worried. The thing that you do when you're in pain is you go see a doctor. I feel like a burden because I feel like I should have gotten over this by now. My worry is that not only am I going to be in pain, but nobody's going to be able to help me. And if nobody's going to be able to help me, then I'm just alone in pain. And that's too scary, so I don't want to be a bother, so I'm just going to jump over and just not get the help. I've done that before. That doesn't help, right? Bringing awareness to the fact that you're worried. Now, here's bringing that awareness to someone else. Here's rule number 1. If you have something that might resonate in a way that's very difficult for somebody to hear, maybe they don't have emotional awareness and they think that you're responsible for their emotions, your only responsibility is to speak things in a way that you would want to receive those things. Speaking in a way that you would want to hear them is the way you honor somebody else with your emotions. I do believe that timing is important. There are times when I will take what I call a weather check. I will see what the emotional state is and whether or not they may or may not be open. It's like, okay, I've checked the weather today and I know it's going to be cold, so I'm like, buckle it up. There may be a mood, there may be a frustration or concern that's going on. Timing sometimes is best, right? To watch for that opening when things are okay and balanced. But I used to do that way too much. And when somebody is never okay and never balanced, it can stifle your ability to just speak what you are experiencing. The big thing is to keep out of judgment. You are feeling a thing. You honor it to yourself and you validate it. It's totally okay that I feel this. And when necessary, you say, hey, did you know this happened? This is what I'm feeling about it. Not giving it to them to fix, just giving them awareness that you're experiencing something. Now, sometimes we have no idea what we're feeling. Sometimes we have no idea how to express it. That is nobody else's job to tell you what you're feeling or to get you to express. Now, let me tell you what is their job: to make it safe for you to express. So I saw this man's coach. I love him. His name is Nick Matesh. He is on Instagram. He's on TikTok. And he's talking with men about what happens, like in relationships when they shut down emotionally or are emotionally unavailable. He's not beating them up. He's just saying, men, we got to get clear. This one man commented and said, yeah, but I'm not responsible for my woman's happiness. He's right. And Nick goes into that. He goes, here's the truth. You are right. You are not responsible for her happiness, but my friend, you are absolutely responsible for producing an environment in which she is safe to process through her unhappiness. And that may be holding her. That may be holding her hand. That may be letting her have some time away from kids. That may be sitting and listening and taking your own deep breaths and saying, I'm going to be open to hear her experience and evaluate for myself what my part was. Because we can't make each other feel anything. But the key. Ooh, lots of emotions coming up. This is really tender to me. The key to being able to express love and to be able to feel love is to be able to know what you're feeling, offering it to yourself and then to others. We get into this habit of not telling people things because it might upset or hurt them. But then what it does is it shuts down. It shuts down your ability to speak the good stuff or receive the good stuff. I love you. I appreciate you. How many of you have had somebody actually express that to you and you barely hear it? How many of you have a feeling of vulnerability about expressing to someone how much you appreciate them because they might not receive it or might dismiss you? That happens all the time. So, in order to do this, the biggest thing is to step outside for a minute of your experience. What I am feeling, or what I felt about today, is I was feeling, quite frankly, burdened by the accountability group that I committed to. Stepping outside of that, honoring it and saying, yeah, I can see why you're burdened. You're like totally like on a run, right? And you don't want to stop that. Yeah, that's a real thing. That is like giving to myself what I wish someone would give to me, except not requiring anybody else to give it. Does that make any sense to you? Have you ever done, I said this and they did that, they never do this to me and they never did that to me? When you do that, you're actually saying that you aren't honoring your own stuff. Step out of it. What would you love to have somebody answer to you when you express an emotion? So like when you're super angry and you think about expressing that anger to someone who's done something, and anger is what showed up in you. And you go, it's just going to lead to a great big fight, and they're just going to be angry, and there's just going to be this. The question is, have you heard yourself and gone, what would I love them to do? Sucks to be angry. Yeah, I can see why. You're seeing things that way, seeing why that particular comment teamed with this particular emotion caused you to feel really unvalidated and really angry. Yeah, that's fair that you're angry. Can you imagine actually have somebody say that to you? Instead, say it to yourself, and this is why. Because once you have validated you, you can express wholeheartedly what you are feeling without blame, shame, dropping it on their laps, because it's already valid that you feel it. Validate and honor yourself first. That's why it's loving behavior. And then share with others. So we're going to go one step further. Sometimes when you have a very difficult conversation or something needs to be said, one of the more honoring things to do is to ask permission to share it, not ask permission whether to feel it. What that means is to say, I've got something kind of big, some feedback, something I'm processing that I would love to share with you. Are you open to that? I listened to a podcast of a man. He's in his 80s, and his woman. They've been married forever and have a lot of love for each other. And he says one of the biggest things that she did for him was she would say, instead of criticizing him, she would say, I have some feedback. Are you open to hearing it? And she would not get angry if he said, no, I'm not in a place to hear it. But he said he learned that her feedback was extremely valuable to him. And so most of the time he would lean in and say, yes, I'm open to your feedback. Can you give me a few minutes? Because he was responsible for shifting himself into openness of receiving what she was saying. How many of you, myself included, straight up, have just given the feedback and not said, I'm seeing something I'd love to share with you. I have an idea about this. Would you mind if I shared that with you? Are you open to receiving it? So speaking in a way that you would want to receive it, but also giving the chance for them to decide whether or not to receive it is really good. We're going to go back. Level 4 or a 5 spin, don't even do it. If you are spinning at a level 4 or 5, you do not do it. It is not the time to give feedback. It's not the time to receive feedback. You can say, I'm at a 4. I would love to express to you what's going on when I'm calmer. Are you open to that? Like if you can do that, that'd be fantastic. Same thing on the other side. I'm at a 4. I'm not a place to receive what you're trying to tell me right now. I would love to calm down, and then I would love to receive that. If you don't know what these levels of emotion are, it's okay, don't worry. I've got a video for that because it's so dang important that we know. Today, your big thing is to set an alarm 4 times today. Ready, go. Set your alarm for 4 times today. Every time that alarm goes off, check in. What am I feeling today? What emotion am I experiencing right now in this moment? Don't make yourself wrong for feeling it. Just go, I see you. I see you. It is going to open up all sorts of loving behavior because you're going to be able to see other people in their emotions and allow them to have it without competition, without blame, without burden, without guilt that they have it. You've got to do that for yourself, and then you can do it for others. So that is our loving reference for today. Okay, provide safe environments for you first. Provide safe environments for others. Open your heart. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.